The Block is making a tree change, and the official Block podcast is where we drill into the details. New episodes every Monday, thanks to Simmons, the great Australian builder. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
9 podcasts.
There's some oohs and ahs going on.
Oh, wow.
Ooh la la.
Hello and welcome to the official Block podcast. I'm Shelley Craft. Ever catch yourself dreaming of a personal hideaway big enough for a king-size bed, a walk-in robe and a palatial private bathroom?
I've got a French door here, a French door here. I'm French door effing galore.
Throw in a working fireplace and you've got 5 master suites in the Macedon Ranges, fit for kings, queens and the person that matters most, the buyer.
This is going to pull at the heartstrings of buyers.
Few spaces tug at a property buyer's heartstrings like a seductive master suite. And this week's winner has plenty of pull.
I feel that Tom and Sarah Jane are really nailing this aesthetic.
Coming up, fresh from their first win, Tom and Sarah Jane. First up though, judge, designer, writer, renovator, renaissance man, Darren Palmer.
It's got me by the heartstrings.
Make sure you tap the follow or subscribe button and never miss a moment of the official Block podcast thanks to Simmons Homes. Simmons, the great Australian builder. Welcome back to the Block podcast, Darren Palmer.
Thank you for having me back.
All right, let's do it. We are a third of the way into the biggest season of the Block ever, and we're still in the old part of the homes. What are you loving and what's sort of grinding your gears at the moment, Dad?
Grinding my gears, I think that's Shayna's job. You know me, I'm the nice judge. I'm the guy that likes everything.
You are actually, by the way, this season, yes.
Or the fence sitter, either way.
No, just a lover, not a fighter.
Exactly. No, I really like the old houses. I think they're beautiful. I think the different approaches are fantastic. I like that we've got traditional detailing. I like that we've got a more contemporary take in some of the houses. I think they're doing a fantastic job thus far.
Particularly under the pressure, under the timeframes, under the weather, under the building restrictions, under the lack of product. It's all starting to unfold, isn't it?
Unravel, yes. But we're seeing houses start to reveal themselves and the styles start to reveal themselves, and we really get a good sense of who the couples are through their work. And we have to remind people that as judges, that's all we see. We get to know them on the TV just like everybody else. It's purely the rooms that we see and it's purely the rooms we're judging, and it's really nice to see the houses start to reveal themselves.
Let's touch on that. The fact that you are just watching the Block like every other punter at home and getting to meet the characters of homes you have studied in depth. Who are you liking and who's perhaps grinding your goat there?
Fortunately, I particularly just like watching myself on TV, so I watch Sundays.
At least you're honest.
I get a good recap of the week and I get to watch all the best bits, and then I get to watch us, which is also great. But it's good to see the reveals. It's good to see what they go through. I don't really expose myself a lot to the goings on between the couples and between each of the houses. You know, it's kind of not my job. My job is to just tell whether the rooms are good.
I know, but are you enjoying our characters this season?
Very much. I'm really enjoying this show. I really think this season is probably the strongest season we've seen in terms of what's on TV, but also the reveals, also the rooms, also the houses. It is the best one we've done so far, for sure.
And now that you are getting to know our lovely little blockheads, do you wish you'd been a little bit kinder or perhaps a little bit tougher on some of them?
No, always. I think those poor things. I didn't know that.
Such a bastard.
Yeah, I didn't know that glue didn't go off, or I didn't know what. It's obvious when things don't go right, but we don't get told, so we just don't know. So all we can be is like, well, that's not finished, that's not good enough, this isn't great, and they've worked their bums off. Yeah, it does make me feel like a bit of a turd. It's not nice watching them, push it uphill all week, and then us just sort of stamping them out like a burnt match.
I think it hurts them more when you just all waltz in looking so fabulous while they haven't slept for, at least 7 days by this stage, if they got any sleep the week before. And you guys just look so glamorous and gorgeous standing in their beautifully presented finished rooms. You
know what? We ran into Tom and Sarah Jane outside their house one for like 5 minutes, and they were just fried. And she was like, "Oh, you all look so glamorous." It's like, well, yeah, we're on camera.
So are they.
Yeah, and we haven't been working all night, and we actually got some sleep.
Well, look, they've just finished creating these gorgeous master suites. So hopefully they can sleep a bit prettier this week if, again, they get any at all. Let's talk about these master suites. My God, they are massive, huge bedrooms, generous wardrobes, and, of course, connecting to those beautiful en-suites that we saw last week, which were, to me, some of them were completely oversized. Is bigger better?
The answer is yes. I mean, bigger is better. This bigger isn't easier. That's for sure. You know, they have to plan and they have to use those spaces. Sometimes small spaces can actually be easier to work with because you have limited options. The bigger the space, the more options you have, and the more paralysis by analysis that you'll get. So, yes, it's better, but it's also probably harder.
Tom and Sarah Jane jagged their first win. They've been the bridesmaids a couple of times, but this was really a wonderful win for them, and we're going to chat to them a little bit later on, but I want to get the goss from you first. Their master was the smallest of them all. So how did they get the win? Because I'm going to be honest, it wasn't my favourite master suite.
Well, you know me, everything's on balance and everything's an analysis of points and allocations of finish and blah, 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 blah. It's really interesting that you say that Tom and Sarah Jane won for the first time this week because honestly, I don't keep any track of who's won what weeks or how many times they've won. Wouldn't have a clue. So, you know, sometimes on TV, like it builds up to like, oh, well, this couple hasn't won yet.
They keep winning and they keep going. Yeah, they haven't won anything, so they're going to have to win this week. Yes, that's
exactly.
right. You don't know because you don't see the judging until it goes to air.
Sometimes we don't even know who wins because we hand in our scores and then we leave, right? So we don't even do the maths and know the winner yet. We find out on TV with you sometimes. Sometimes we know, sometimes we don't. Sometimes it depends on whether the plane's going to leave or not. It's really not a matter of whose turn it is to win. You know, just Tom and Sarah Jane, I was surprised that they hadn't won yet because they'd done such great rooms and they'd consistently been so right up there in terms of their finish and design. And, you know, they're really front runners in this competition as far as I'm concerned. Their
consistency is there, isn't it, with their styling and their finish?
Absolutely. And I feel like they have a really cohesive vision for their house. And I think that comes through when you're selling a house, you know, to auction. It really shows that you've had a real clear vision all the way through. But how do they win with the smallest room? It's not all about size. It's about how you use it. And it really is about planning the space properly, making sure you've got enough amenity in there. You've got those little pops of interest. You know, the fireplace in there was really sweet. They had a color palette that was interesting. It did have a real feeling of contemporary country. It felt like it belonged in the house. It felt like it belonged in the landscape. All those things added up to it being a successful space.
So was it your favourite?
No.
Oh, well, let's move to house 2 then, because I know you have been an advocate for Rachel and Ryan's style from the beginning, a lot more contemporary than it is country, which I know you've gone back and forward with your fellow judges on. But I think you loved their master suite, particularly that beautiful stackstone fireplace was a huge feature for me, and it made their master ensuite make sense to me.
How did you know I liked it? Was it that I hugged the fireplace?
That might have been a giveaway.
Yeah, for me, that's the thing. It made sense of their ensuite. It finished their space. It felt like a main bedroom suite. You know, that's the way it was supposed to feel. Personally, that one was my favorite because it had all the cues that I like in terms of stone, wood, all those natural elements and, you know, the lovely soft shears and the outlooks. All of it added up to what I perceive as Australian country. And it felt very modern. It felt very current. So it ticked all those boxes for me. That said, it always helps for an ensuite to have a door. I don't understand this idea of ensuites that don't have doors, especially when they're next to a robe. So you can't go to the bathroom and lock the door behind you, which for me, nah.
Not working. Doesn't do it for you.
No way. I want to know that my little safe space is safe space, thank you.
I'm just thinking, do I have? No, I do not have a lock on my ensuite. And I never shut the door. But, you know, my toot is around the corner. It's hidden.
How hidden, Shelley?
As hidden as necessary. Very hidden. Not from the kids, but they still come in and visit, I will be honest.
Great.
Okay, I'm putting a lock on the door.
Listen, bathrooms need privacy sets. That's why privacy sets were invented. It's called a privacy set. It's for privacy.
Okay, all right. So marks lost there.
That's right. That's how they lost marks from me, yes.
I think the one thing Rach and Ryan have is a really distinct buyer profile in mind, and they have from day one. They are the buyer of their house. They know how they would use that house. They're building it for them, which is obviously for someone like your good self. They're really tugging on your heartstrings. Someone who perhaps doesn't have quite as strong a buyer profile. Let's move on to house number 3. It is Encore and Sharon.
Yeah. A lot of ideas and then see what sticks.
And you'd think by week 3 you would have kind of narrowed down those ideas, wouldn't you? But they're still throwing it all in every room.
I feel like they had more clarity earlier on. Maybe it was just they'd done less that competed so that, you could see the similarities in the rooms that they'd done. But as they go through the competition this week, you can see that they've sort of moved in a slightly different direction. And then, if that is the trajectory that we keep seeing, then which direction is the buyer going to want, and which buyer is going to respond to a house that has several different directions and stylistic facets? Maybe it's an eclectic buyer. That's fine. But full well, you own a real estate agency, one buyer is great. 3 buyers is way better.
Well, one buyer in an auction isn't going to get you very far, is it?
No, that's a vendor bid.
That's it. You need 3 people bidding for that home because they are desperately in love with it.
That's it.
What I did see in their room this week was bringing in some antique furniture pieces. And I know Sharon's been madly shopping and she sometimes get upset that you haven't noticed her antique pieces in the rooms. But who moves into a brand new house with every single item of furniture, brand spanking new? Nobody. Even when you move house, no matter whether you've done the build from scratch, you have to bring grandma's armoire, your nan's chest that you can't give away. You've probably got a piece of furniture that you bought for yourself when you first moved out of home. To move into a house that is completely new, it's just not what happens. So to see these older pieces and these antique pieces coming through, which I know Sharon and Uncle have tried really hard to do, to add the country and the antique to the contemporary.
It's really important too for a home that feels lived in and has character to have older pieces in it. Not everything's a catalogue. That's the difference between a home and a catalogue. Everything isn't brand new and curated and collated and perfect. Homes have stuff. And that's how you sell that dream of a perfect home to somebody. It's by filling in the gaps with character. So putting in antique or even just old pieces, it's really wise, especially in this environment, to find things in, little stores up in Wood End and around Mount Macedon. Great idea. Fantastic idea. The inclusion of them, you still have to tie them in with other things in the room so that they feel like they belong. And you can do that just by simply tying in timber colors. And it doesn't have to be the same timber, but find the color of the timber and tie that in with something else. It could be decorative pieces, it could be soft furnishings. Say, for example, you've got a brown antique sideboard, then you might use brown cushions in the same tone. So you can look at color irrespective of material, and that's a good way to tie old things in with new.
One of the newest things we're seeing a lot of this season and a little bit last season was, of course, the smart mirrors or the mirror TVs, whichever way you like to describe them, I'm never sure. The ones where the telly disappears and then there's a beautiful piece of artwork there, or there's the beautiful mirror. Are these a clever design hack or are they kind of tacky?
The fact that you whispered that makes me think you think they're tacky. I think they're cool. Not designing a room with a big black rectangle just on the wall is really great. TVs are functional. Obviously, without them, we wouldn't have a living. They're kind of important. But I think it's good that they get hidden behind mirrors or they get hidden as artwork. I think it's a really nice approach.
You've just got to have the right artwork. I do like the mirrored ones. I sometimes find if you haven't paid that little bit extra for the good artwork, then they're just not working in the rooms. But we're going to see more of them this season, I can tell you that. Each and every year, the block does set a few new trends amongst home renovators. What do you think it's going to be this year if it's not the art TV or the mirror TV?
Gosh, is it gingham? I don't know. Is it like macro gingham in autumnal colours? I mean, we've seen quite a lot of that so far, and it works. It works really well.
Green. Every shade of green.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing all sorts of green. I mean, it really does fit in with that contemporary country brief for sure. It does bring in that freshness and life. I don't think of it as a trend color, though. I think it's actually really broad and enduring. It's evergreen. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I am green with envy over these master suites. I would be happy to live in any one of them at this stage. And I know the contestants are going to be very happy getting a good night's sleep in their beautiful new masters tonight.
Well, as long as the robes are big enough for people to live in, especially the people that buy the house, because that's really the person you've got to satisfy. And, if the robes are big enough to put all your stuff, great. And if it's not, you're going to have to look at it again in a few weeks.
Oh, you wouldn't be referring to house number 5 by any chance, would you? Yeah, that was a bit of a cock-up, wasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely didn't do the job it was supposed to do. It looked good until you fell over the ottoman and you couldn't get to the bathroom. Like in the middle of the night, you wake up and you're like, it's sleepy, and then bam, into an ottoman. You bash your head into a robe because it's right there because the robe is small. That's a fail.
Well, hopefully Scotty gives them a little bit of time to do a fix-up, and hopefully, again, the boys take his advice and do that one. Never mind, they're the bathroom kings and they can, sit on those thrones for as long as they like.
Well, as long as they got a privacy set.
Thanks, Mr. Palmer. Chat to you soon.
Thank you.
The Official Block podcast is sponsored by Simmons, the great Australian builder. Every day at Simmons, our people stand by our promise to be with you throughout your new home journey. Over the last 70 years, Simmons have seen and dealt with it all. And despite today's trade and material shortages, our size and strong relationships means we'll deliver on what we promise. So if you're ready to join the thousands of Australians we're welcoming home each month, talk to Simmons, the great Australian builder. Find out more at simmons.com.au. CDB-U 49491. Here's a hot tip. If you're loving this podcast and want to hear it while it's hot and fresh, make sure you tap the follow or subscribe button on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I asked you so many times.
All right, blame me.
No, but why don't you just say,
You
Sarah
sent me a
Jane,
text.
remember there's going to be blinds there. Sarah Jane, remember there's going to be
I-
an arc there.
Well, it's a learning curve. Now you know. Don't.
Off.
According to the laws of physics, the greater the tension, the greater the potential. And maybe it's as true in science as it is in this marriage. Fresh from their first win and overflowing with potential, welcome to the Block Podcast, Tom and SJ. Lovely to finally have you here.
Hey,
Hi,
Shelley. Thanks for
Shelley.
having us.
Oh dear, there's been some tense moments between you two, hasn't there? Particularly in the past week.
There has been a couple, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Nah, nothing any different from, I don't
Day-to-day
know, normal
life.
life.
Ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
forever.
If the audience thought for 1 second that you guys were hamming it up for the cameras, they are absolutely not. This is Tom and SJ to a T from day one. You guys are just really showing us what you're made of and wearing your hearts on your sleeve. And for that, I want to say thank you. It's not easy to just be yourselves in front of camera, and you have done that since the day you stepped on the block.
Oh, thank you. It can be vulnerable putting yourself out there, knowing that people are going to watch. But as soon as we got on, we were like, oh, let's just go in and be ourselves. And if people like it, sweet. If people don't, I don't really give I don't really care. Sorry. My apologies. Sorry. I don't really mind.
We do get the real you, don't we? Well, how are you enjoying watching yourself on the telly?
I've been enjoying it. It's good to watch ourselves, and it's also good to see what's been happening at the other end of the block. You go days without seeing some of the other couples. So it was actually fun to watch the boys' bathroom week and see how much trouble they were actually in.
Yeah, we like watching it to see other people's stories because we know what happened with us. But we're like, oh, that went down. She never said that.
So, who do you like? Which team are you rooting for the win this season?
They're all so boring. No, I'm just joking.
Well-
No, we're rooting for ourselves, obviously.
But we do have a good connection with Rachel and Ryan too.
Yeah.
So
Still?
Oh, I spoke to her on like an hour ago. She's staying at our house this weekend. So I'm still close with her. So we're rooting for them.
we want everybody
The boys
to
are
succeed.
actually really funny in their interviews. I didn't think they were that funny in real life. So that's good.
How about seeing their houses on the walkthroughs when you do your open for inspections during the week? Have you got any surprises there?
So far, not really on our end. We haven't
have
really
been-
been critiqued too harshly, but
No.
I'm looking forward to hearing it when everybody gets a bit tired and
Yeah.
maybe after a few wins, maybe we may be critiqued a little bit harsher.
I reckon too.
But,
I reckon once we take a win out, they're going to be like, this wasn't a winning room. But so far, everyone's been like really polite, like, oh, lovely, nice. We're probably being the most brutal.
Yeah, you have. There's no doubt. I'm going to be pretty brutal now. You took out the win for your master suite, and I'm going to say it wasn't my favourite room.
You not have your glasses on when you walk through.
Here we go. Cut loose, SJ. Let me have it.
Sorry, I don't understand what you're saying.
But Neil did give you a perfect 10, and he said that you're absolutely nailing that new rural aesthetic. Did you have an idea coming into the block of exactly what you were going to do, and now we're seeing that come to fruition? Or did you get there, take a look around, have a look at the house and go, I'm just going to wing this?
Yep, it's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
If you go in there with a plan, all your plans can just go down the drain. So we just went there open-minded, and I mean, that style, just if we were to build our own home, that's exactly how we would have done it anyway. So, I mean, I just put trust in Sarah Jane, and she did a good job, and I liked everything, really. So it came to us pretty naturally.
Yeah.
We're lucky.
The styling came to you really naturally, didn't it, Tom?
Yeah, it did, yeah.
So naturally
Really
that you didn't do anything. Yeah.
So if you loved everything she was doing and she loves you desperately, where did all these blow-ups come from?
That laugh. Can we turn your mic down, please?
It's funny because in day-to-day, outside of the block in real life, we hardly bicker. And that's going to shock people, but we genuinely hardly fight. We'd be smart asses to each other because we like to just kind of pick on each other, but we don't actually fight. But you'll never be in an environment like that ever again with a partner. The pressure just got to us and we just like...
Yeah, you're constantly in the race against time.
Yeah.
You have financial pressures. You're sick of living in the cold and the mud.
And when you're stressed constantly, you always take it on the one you love the most. Well, I do anyways. If I'm upset or stressed, where's my husband? Like, I need to yell at someone. Please bring him to me so I can do that to him. Like, that's how it kind of worked while we were there.
But there's obviously an enormous trust and confidence that the two of you have in your relationship that didn't rock the boat.
Yeah, no, not at all. We get it out. Like, I'll let him have his moment. Even though they're not showing many of his moments, they're just showing a lot of my moments.
Was there any moments? Was there really moments, Tom?
Tom gives it as good as he gets.
The more so moments I had were painting nights. They were more my moments throughout the day. I didn't really have too many moments.
Well, you didn't have your problems. I think I giggled a lot when SJ said, it's my problem, but I'm going to make it Tom's problem because I'm annoyed at myself.
Yeah. But I'm honest. I'm honest about it. I'll always apologise. That's probably why we're still married, because I can always apologise.
Well, that is a beautiful quality. Yes, and he can always accept that apology.
Most of the time, yeah.
Obviously, coming up, we've got some really trying weeks ahead. Does everything still feel relatively new at this point, or do you feel like, okay, this is it, this is the grind?
Throughout the block, you run off adrenaline. When you get told what room you're doing next week, you fire back up naturally again.
We were always excited.
Yeah.
Like, even though we knew it was going to be hard, we would literally say at least twice a week, all the way up to like week 12, would wake up and look at each other in bed and be like, oh my God, like we are on the block. Like
it still has never sunk in.
No. So I think because we were so excited to be there, we were just like, we're going to make this such a positive experience. If we're giving up time with our daughter, if we're like, giving up making money through work and that, we're just going to have the best time.
So no, I don't think we ever really felt super tired.
No.
We got tired of the mud and that was about it.
Yeah.
Well, you certainly did bring a lot of energy to the block all the way through. And I don't want to give too much away, obviously, because, everyone's listening week in and week out. We're at home watching it. But I do want to get your opinion on your fellow contestants' houses this week. We are talking master bedrooms. Okay, let's go through. Obviously, yours is the winner and yours was the greatest and yours was awesome. And was it the cute little fireplace that you think got you across the line?
I think it was just everything. I think it was the colour palette. I think it was the artwork above the bed. I think it was the amazing bone inlay bedside tables. I think it was the Italian linen style of the walk-in robe. Like, I could go on and on. I actually think that there was not one bad thing in that room.
Oh, it's everything SJ did, Tom. What did you like about it? I love the painting. I love the quality of the craftsmanship.
He did the wainscoting.
I love the wainscoting.
No, it was all your idea for the flyer, wasn't it?
For the fire, yeah. I'm big on fires, but I think seeing it connect through to the ensuite, I reckon the judges saw it all as one, and I reckon that could be maybe why we got the win as well.
I reckon too. Ours was like so consistent with our master ensuite.
What about Rachel and Ryan's? Did you like their beautiful big fireplace?
So Rachel and Ryan's, I know, is your favourite. I can already tell. Yeah. And because they're from Sydney and they're coastal and you're Byron Bay, so I know that you'll like her style. Like, it was my second favourite by far. It's just a bit vanilla.
I loved their stone fireplace. I reckon that looked really cool. I love their barn-style door.
Yeah, I like the barn-style door.
See those quirky aspects, love those.
Yeah, it's not the style of home that I would buy, but I could really appreciate they did really good quality work.
Yeah, it was just super like beige.
So let's talk about Encore and Sharon's then. Massive, massive spaces. Their wardrobe was bigger than most apartments. Their bedroom is ginormous. That bathroom was completely oversized. I mean, that is a mini house all of its own down that end.
Yeah.
Look, I liked it. Sarah Jane,
I'd tear it
not so
apart.
much. The walk-in robe, I felt like I was at Louis Vuitton trying on handbags. It was like a display suite. It was,
Louis Vuitton says how many times he goes to Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton, yeah, go on.
Louis Vuitton, yeah.
It's the men's version.
Yeah. But the only thing I really disliked, I couldn't stand their fireplace in that room. It was built in wrong. It just should have had a floor-to-ceiling mantelpiece. I didn't like the fireplace.
Yeah.
So.
And then he got really annoyed that they put wood next to the fireplace when it's a gas fireplace. And
that's right.
like, he was livid.
It's the little details, isn't it?
Yeah,
He was
so
like, why would you put wood here? Like, this is ridiculous. It doesn't take wood.
So I took their wood and I burnt it.
Can
That
I
kept
tell
us
you?
warm.
We were warm every night in our master while all the other couples froze for the next 10 weeks because there was no heating. We would light that baby every night.
I was sleeping in my jocks some nights.
Yeah.
I was overheating.
Oh, they will be very jealous when they hear that or watch that on the telly, won't they?
Yeah.
All right, Dylan and Jen's bedroom. I love this one too. I thought this is a beautiful room.
Really?
Yeah, I liked
okay.
Dylan. I liked the entrance into their
yes, I
walk-in
loved.
robe.
Yes, I loved the entrance and I
Very
loved their
impressive.
walk-in robe. But that bedroom had so much potential, and it was just
Nah, see, I didn't mind it. Their finishes let them down.
absolutely not.
Are we going to have a Tom and Sarah Jane Blue right here about it? Come
No,
on,
their
come
finish,
on.
you could really see
Like,
that.
there's not one thing that I remember about that master. Like, I remember that there was a bay window seat.
That was
And there
not
was
finished.
a TV that you couldn't look at that was like to the left of the bed with maybe, was there a fake fireplace there or no?
There was a gas log in
Yeah,
there.
okay, there was a gas log, but that should have been the masterpiece almost of the room, and it was just tossed to the side.
I think the wardrobe was the masterpiece, wasn't it? And their bathroom was beautiful. But that's an interesting point, SJ, because when we have 5 houses going to auction on the same day, you want to have something memorable. And if you say you don't really remember anything about it or it didn't pull on any heartstrings.
Nah, it didn't, and that's what. And I was so disappointed because Jenny's first guest bedroom
That's probably my favourite room of
is
the block.
one of my favorite rooms on the block. So maybe I held her up really, really high. I was like, she's going to nail this. And then I walked in and I was like, oh, really?
Oh,
Why? You broke my heart.
God, she's got a lot to make up to you.
How dare she do this to
dare
me?
she
Doesn't she know it's all
disappoint me so
about me?
Okay, talking the boys, Omar and Oz's. Now, they had a few dramas this week as well. Gee, they're racking up the dramas, aren't they, the boys?
They're racking up the dramas. Yeah, they are.
What did you think of the boys? It had that ugly latticing.
I can't stand day beds in a bedroom. Like, I go to a bedroom to lay in a bed, not sit on a windowsill. And I wasn't a big fan of that latticing that they left.
There's heritage and then there's just keeping something ugly.
It wasn't a horrible room, but it was far from their best.
Yeah, well, the judges have spoken, and it seems you're very much in keeping with the judges' comments.
Ah.
So
Yeah.
we'll have a little guest judging from you two from now on, I think.
Everyone's like, shut up, Sarah Jane. No one wants to hear you judging.
All right, we've got a little game for you to play now. It's called Reno Romance. Are you ready?
Oh, let's play.
This has been designed specifically for the two of you because at the heart of your weekly drama and tension sits, of course, a very loving marriage. And we do witness that as well. I'm sure there's some good stuff coming up. The master bedroom is a room filled with love and warmth and, of course, that beautiful real wood burning fireplace. 10 points there for that one. So, in light of your winning master bedroom, I want you to show us some love and, of course, your knowledge of each other.
So this little
Okay.
game is called Reno Romance. It's like couples counselling with a bit of a block twist.
Perfect.
Oh, beautiful. Free too. Awesome.
Here's how it works. I'm going to ask you a question, but I don't want you to answer it for yourself. I want you to answer it for your partner. And then we'll see if they agree with your answer.
Okay.
Do you understand? Get the point?
Sure. Yep.
Person with
I'll
most
pick it
points
up.
wins. So one of you is going to lose.
Sarah Jane.
I'm such a sore loser too.
I hope Sarah Jane loses.
All right. Which is each other's favourite colour?
Blue.
It's green.
Really? No, you've said blue before. He's
No, I
lying.
haven't. I can't stand blue.
He's lying. Tom, your favourite colour is blue, just so you know. What's SJ's favourite colour?
SJ's favourite colour would be green.
It is that arsehole.
All right, 1 point for Tom.
Right,
Okay.
well, a
That's
loser.
actually so annoying.
What's one's least favourite thing about renovating? The answer for this could be universal.
Yeah. Painting.
Yeah, I'll take that.
It is. Don't
Right.
even say yeah.
It's everybody's.
Yeah.
Or is it SJ's? You tell me. What's SJ's least favourite thing?
Oh, I think painting for Sarah Jane too.
You can't change your answer, Sarah.
Honestly, painting wasn't the one that I thought of.
Because
My answer was cleaning, but is that under renovating? Because it's like the cleaning after the renovation, all the dust, everything. Unless cleaning doesn't default as the right answer, then he's got the painting. If people say that,
No, I think he
not
has. I think Tom's going to get the win again then.
Okay, I see whose team you're on, Shelley. No problems.
Each other's favourite Macca's menu item.
Oh, I know this one.
Same.
Fillet of fish.
Yep, fillet of fish, and Sarah Jane's would be nuggets.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Oh, 1 point each. Woo! Know what you're having for dinner tonight or on your way home from the radio station? Okay. What's one another's greatest strength on the block?
Tom's greatest strength would be his hardworkingness. Is that like, I don't know if that
That's
like,
a good word.
Work ethic?
work ethic. Thank you. That's a really
Hardworking.
good
That's all
word.
right.
I like that.
Would you say that that's your?
Probably. Yeah,
He is a workhorse.
I enjoy working, so it probably comes a bit easier for me.
So she got it right. Yeah.
She got it
Pretty,
right,
it's
yeah.
pretty clear.
He
Yeah,
is next
I
level.
tried.
And what's my greatest strength, Thomas?
Your greatest strength that got us through. Oh, you did all the design,
So styling.
styling.
Yeah,
for
you'd be
sure.
right. Turns out I'm a style genius.
Both right. Well done. All right, this is the last question.
I hope you lose.
Whose fault is it?
Sarah Jane.
Tom's. 100% it's Tom's fault.
Is she right, Tom? Is it your fault?
Definitely not.
Are you serious?
What are we talking about, though?
In life in general?
Oh,
Anyway, so I'm
definitely.
going to leave the two of you there. It's been lovely chatting. Have a
Definitely
great week
not
on the
my
blog.
fault.
I wish you all the best for your next stream. Hopefully, we chat here again on the blog podcast if you make it home in one piece. Tom.
Yeah, it would just be me by myself next time. Tom's like, nah, I'm not coming in.
Thanks heaps,
Thanks
Shelley.
for having us, Shell.
Pleasure, guys. Love ya. See you soon. Don't miss the block on 9 this week as our contestants race to complete their guest suites. And never miss an episode of this podcast by following the official Block podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. The Block podcast is thanks to Simmons Homes, the great Australian builder. And I will catch you next week. The official Block podcast is sponsored by Simmons, the great Australian builder. Every day at Simmons, our people stand by our promise to be with you throughout your new home journey. Over the last 70 years, Simmons have seen and dealt with it all. And despite today's trade and material shortages, our size and strong relationships means we'll deliver on what we promise. So if you're ready to join the thousands of Australians we're welcoming home each month, talk to Simmons, the great Australian builder. Find out more at simmons.com.au. CDB-U 49491.